Hello and welcome our blood viewers who are today's news English edition. As usual, we start tonight's news with the major and top highlights. Launch of the National Gender Policy 2024-2030 and mobilization of partners for its financing. And on the international scene in Gaza, the UN calls for the delivery of aid in Israel postpones the opening of the Rafah crossing. Those were the major and top highlights. Welcome back to our news, our beloved viewers. The Djiboutian official delegation participated in the FAO hosted Global Forum on Food and Investment hand in hand, held at the Food and Agriculture Organization headquarters in Rome. During the session devoted to partner countries, His Excellency Mohammed Ahmed Awali, Minister of Agriculture, Water, Fisheries and Marine Resources, delivered a keynote address in which we affirmed Djibouti's firm intention to fully engage with the Hand in Hand 2025 initiative through a modern, competitive and inclusive agricultural strategy. The minister said Djibouti is presenting for the first time an integrated investment plan aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals, a plan that is the product of close collaboration between the minister's technical teams and FAO experts. He highlighted four major projects with strong economic potential. A date palm farming sector, 1,000 hectares of modern oasis, estimated investment of $60.5 million US, expected to generate 3,200 direct and indirect jobs. Vegetable production in greenhouses and shade houses, 15 hectares, investment $1.9 million US, aimed at meeting 25% of national vegetable demand. Development of a modern agriculture sector in Luaida area, investment 624,000 million to boost local production destined for exports to the Middle East and North African region. Construction of a modern slaughterhouse in Demerjog built to international standards cost $30.7 million US, intended to increase the value of meat and related products. Secretary General of the Ministry, Mr. Ibrahim Ilmi, presented the National Investment Plan, which totals $101 million US and reflects the government's vision to build a sustainable agricultural sector that creates jobs and mobilizes private investment. During the partner country session, the minister, Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awali, announced that Djibouti is presenting for the first time an integrated investment plan aligned with the SDGs, the result of close collaboration between the ministry's technical team and FAO, and highlighted four priority projects in date palm cultivation, protected vegetable production, modern agriculture at the standard slaughterhouse. The government of Djibouti, through the Ministry of Women and Family and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, has announced the organization of a high-level conference to finance the local National Gender Policy 2024-2030. The conference will be held on Thursday, 16 October 2025 at the Ayla Hotel in Djibouti City. The event aims to mobilize the financial and technical resources required to accelerate implementation of this ambitious policy, which serves as a cornerstone for advancing gender equality and women's empowerment across all sectors. Minister of Women and Family, Mrs. Muna Osman Aden, said that the policy is a comprehensive strategic plan that addresses contemporary challenges, including climate change, the digital revolution, and the post-COVID-19 context, and seeks to strengthen women's resilience in their economic, social and political empowerment. Technical and financial partners, representatives of national ministries and institutions, and civil society organizations all took part with the shared objective of unifying efforts in strengthening partnerships to implement the policy's 6 pillars, such as combating violence and promoting women's political and economic participation. The conference reaffirms the government's commitment to advancing an equitable society and making women's empowerment central to sustainable national development. The Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibu Min Asowi, reaffirmed the country's commitment to empowering Djibouti's young people by scaling up skills, training, expanding cultural and sporting opportunities, and promoting creative industries.
My ministry is heavily involved in the issue of women's empowerment. Our main target audience is young people, and a significant proportion of them are girls. Statistics have even shown that the majority of the population today is made up of girls. And since young people represent the largest segment of the population, this means that girls form a majority within the youth demographic. This clearly shows how strongly I support this program. I would also like to highlight that the Ministry of Youth and Culture is deeply engaged in the socio-economic integration of girls. On this point, Minister Muna, we can centrally collaborate and share many associations we work with. These organizations, which represent civil society, regularly submit requests to the Ministry for small-scale support in this area. This support can take the form of short training sessions, provision of equipment or materials that will help them start or sustain income-generating activities. Many of these requests are channeled through key platforms where young people express themselves, especially community development centers, which also see a strong presence of girls and women. This is a program we could definitely work on together. I believe there is a wealth of experience to draw from, particularly with a key partner, the National Union of Djiboutian Women, UNFD.
Madam Muna Usman Adam, Minister of Women and Family, described the National Gender Policy 2024-2030 as a firm commitment to intensify protection for women, reduce gender-based violence, and expand women's economic and intensify the participation. Let's listen to her.
La décennie écoulée,
over the past decade, from 2011 to 2021, the former national gender policy led to real progress. Djiboutian women gained better access to education. They now hold important jobs and take on more public responsibilities. These achievements show that when political will is supported by strong strategies, we see real results. But Djibouti did not stop at changing laws and policies. Our country has become a model for women empowerment in Africa. It is important to say that these results were only possible because the government stayed committed. This commitment continued beyond yearly budgets and short-term priorities. Our programs, especially those for girls' education and maternal and child health, have been consistent. This has helped build real and lasting progress. The new policy we are presenting today for 2024 to 2023 builds on that progress. It is a natural next step. It is more ambitious and more focused, but we must be honest. Big challenges remain. To slow down our efforts, we also face coordination issues that we must fix. Since 2020, the world had changed. COVID-19, climate change, and fast digital growth have created new risks. These risks affect women in different and often harder ways.
Mr. Abdul Ghadir Hussein Umar, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, reiterated Djibouti's commitment to constructive diplomacy and strengthened international cooperation to promote development, stability, and humanitarian action. The ministry stressed that Djibouti will deepen bilateral and multilateral partnerships to mobilize resources for social programs and infrastructure, support regional stability, and play a constructive role in international dialogue and cooperation. The Research, Information and Educational Production Center, CRIPEN, hosted an official ceremony on Thursday, 16th of October for the handover of a major educational donation from the U.S. organization Books for Africa, 100,000 books in English and French. The large consignment of circular and educational books aims to strengthen school libraries nationwide, support reading skills and language learning, and foster a culture of knowledge across primary schools, institutes, and English and French. Minister of National Education and Vocational Training said the donation reflects the trust and fruitful cooperation between the ministry and its international partners and underscores a shared commitment to improving education quality in Djibouti. The donation also included solar lamps, a critical support for students in rural and remote areas that enable study after sunset where electricity is unavailable. The ministry announced that the resources will be evenly distributed to 277 educational institutions nationwide. The minister stressed that education remains a top government priority and said that the partnership with Books for Africa is a reminder that investing in books and spreading knowledge is the best path to a better future for Djibouti's youth. Mr. Mustafa Muhammad Mahmoud, Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, welcomed the donation of books and solar ramps and said that the resources will expand learning opportunities across 277 schools. The minister highlighted the donation strengthens school libraries nationwide, supports reading and language learning, and together with solar lamps for off-grid areas, helps reduce educational inequity and enable students to study after dark. The Sheraton Hotel hosted yesterday the launch ceremony for the Sustainable Management of Water Resources and Rangelands project under the supervision of the Ministry of Environment, Mr. Abdelkader Musa Halim, and the Ministry of Decentralization in close collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme. The project's primary objective is to strengthen the resilience of rural communities to climate change by adopting sustainable natural resource management practices that contribute to food security, environmental conservation, and improved livelihoods for rural populations. The initiative is part of a partnership-based commitment by the government and civil society to address the country's climate and natural resource management challenges. Mr. Mohammed Abdelkader Musahilim, Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development, announced the launch of a project to strengthen rural resilience through sustainable management of water in rangelands. The minister explained that the initiative will support rural communities facing climate stress by promoting improved water management, rangeland restoration, and community training to enhance food security, preserve ecosystems, and improve living conditions for pastoral and farming households. The Ministry of Energy, in charge of natural resources in partnership with the French Development Agency, held a workshop today at Isla Grande Hotel to launch the official project for energy efficiency in administrative buildings. The workshop was chaired by the Minister of Energy, Mr. Yunus Ali Gueide, and attended by the AFD Director, the Deputy General Manager of the Electricity Company, ADD, the project's international advisor, relevant ministry and representatives, the project steering committee, and senior ministry officials. Aligned with the President's Djibouti 2035 vision, the project aims to promote sustainable energy management in the state, reduce energy consumption, and cut harmful emissions while developing natural expertise in energy efficiency. The project rests on three main pillars: refurbishment of existing buildings to strict thermal standards and adoption of low energy technologies, deployment of renewable energy, particularly solar, in public buildings, and promoting a culture of energy conservation among citizens, and encouraging practical measures to reduce consumption. Mr. Yunus Ali Gueide, Minister of Energy, said that the energy efficiency project with the French Development Agency aims to reduce consumption, cut emissions, and develop national capacity in energy management. As part of an official mission to Doha, the General Director of the National Agency of Persons with Disabilities, Mr. Douali Saeed Mahmoud, held a series of high-level meetings aimed at strengthening cooperation between the Republic of Djibouti and the State of Qatar on social development and the inclusion of persons with disabilities. The visit began with an official visit with His Excellency the Dabi Roble, Ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti to Qatar. The meeting is part of a regular institutional exchange between the AMPH and the Djiboutian diplomatic mission to introduce national initiatives and reinforce international partnerships. During the meeting, the General Director provided a detailed presentation of the agency's main activities and projects and outlined future prospects for the disability sector in Djibouti, notably the project to build a reception, training, and rehabilitation center in Balbala, expected to become a national reference center for social inclusion. The two sides discussed cooperation opportunities and mechanisms for mobilizing technical and financial support from Qatari institutions and international organizations based in Doha. The ambassador praised the MPH's ongoing efforts to serve vulnerable groups and reaffirmed the embassy's full readiness to support the agency's cooperative initiatives. The meeting concluded on a cordial note, and the General Director presented a symbolic gift to the ambassador in recognition of his commitment to the agency's mission. Within the National Last Mile Project, the Central Purchasing Authority for Medicines and Essential Supplies launched a wide logistical operation to strengthen pharmaceutical supplies chain and reach the country's most remote areas. During 2024, this ambitious initiative enabled rapid and secure delivery of medical products to health centers in the Ali Sibih region and its sub-districts. An official handover ceremony for the products took place in the Ali Sibih Regional Hospital. Dr. Ahmed Absi Warsame, attended by the government of Ali Sibih region, Mr. Abdul Malik Mohammed Bonoita, the president of the regional council, Mr. Sharmaki Hassan Alale, the regional hospital general director, Mr. Mohammed Miguel Hassan, and the director general of the Central Authority for the Purchase of Medicines and Essential Supplies, Dr. Hassan. The project represents a real transformation in pharmaceutical distribution across Djibouti, aiming to ensure fast and equitable access to essential medicines even in isolated or hard to reach areas. It is structured around four main axes: improving distribution networks, establishing regional warehouses to improve storage conditions and facilitate deliveries to health centers, strengthening logistical capacities by procuring vehicles suited to difficult geographic conditions, and improving targeted field training for frontline personnel. Digitalization, stock tracking by integrating inventory management information system to improve traceability and reduce supply shortages, enhancing institutional coordination between the Central Purchasing Authority, CAM, regional health directories, and service delivery centers to ensure a unified and integrated approach to medicine distribution. The Last Miles project embodies the Ministry of Health's commitment to modernizing and securing the pharmaceutical supply chain while reducing disparities in access to care across the country. As we move from Ali Sibih to the government of Uganda for the regional scene, the government announced a new initiative called Nimea, aimed at increasing tree planting in schools and local communities nationwide. The initiative forms part of the National Roots Campaign, which seeks to address declining tree cover and encourage citizen participation in environmental conservation. The Ugandan Ministry of Environment said the initiative will include awareness and training programs for students and communities on the role of trees in combating climate change, improving air and water quality, and supporting biodiversity. Seedlings will be distributed to schools and community organizations to encourage active participation in reforestation projects. The program also aims to foster public-private cooperation to ensure the long-term sustainability of tree planting efforts and aligns with Uganda's national strategies for sustainable development and national resource protection. Officials and civil society representatives welcome the initiative as a positive step to raise environmental awareness and advance the sustainable development goals. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, as the ceasefire continues in Gaza, the United Nations has called for all crossings to be opened immediately to allow humanitarian assistance into the Gaza Strip. More details with Qasira.
The UN humanitarian chief has urged Israel to open more crossings to Gaza to allow search of aid after Israel wanted to limit supplies into the territory over the lies from Hamas in releasing the powers of the city hostage. Tom Fletcher called on both Israel and Hamas to implement the term of a ceasefire agreement, saying it was essential that we do not squander the immense progress made through the US procured deal. There has been growing anger in Israel over the delayed return of state supporters and the key Rafah crossing between Egypt and southern Gaza remained closing on Wednesday. In Gaza, people have been stockpiling food as surprise surge over fears the ceasefire. Humanitarian aid has been entering Gaza since the ceasefire deal took effect on 10 October, but Israel threatened to restrict their supplies after Hamas do not return the powers of all 28 designated hostages by Monday. As agreed, Hamas says it has had difficulty locating their remains.
The World Meteorological Organization has announced that the atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations have reached a record high.
The World Meteorological Organization announced Tuesday that atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration have reached their highest level ever recorded, intensifying global warming and risk of extreme weather even worldwide. According to the UN agency, the continued rise in greenhouse gas emission is pushing the planet into a dangerous warming trajectory. The speech repeated warning of the need to rapidly reduce this emission to meet the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement. The WMO report emphasizing that the persistent accumulation of carbon dioxide will lead to more severe climate disruption, including more frequent and intense heat waves, drought, and floods, threatening food and water security in many parts of the world. The organization called the data an alarming trend and urged government to strengthen their climate policies and accelerating the transition to clean energy sources to curb global warming.
Well, but these are beloved viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later as usual for more. Have a wonderful evening and take care.